Hi, Eileen Veilleux, the fam here. Welcome to another installment in our mini mental health series. In this installment, we will be learning about misophonia. Before we begin, let me just remind you to please watch the full video because in the video there will be 3 key words. When I get to the keyword, I will say keyword, then what that keyword is. At the end of the video, in the comment sections, along with a genuine comment about the video, put in the 3 keywords you hear to be eligible for my free merch giveaway when I reach 2,000 subscribers. So what is misophonia? Misophonia is a disorder where people have abnormally strong and negative reactions to the ordinary keyword sounds humans make, such as chewing or breathing. It is not unusual for people to occasionally be irritated by some everyday sound. But for the individuals with misophonia, the sound of someone smacking their lips or chewing a pen can make them want to scream or hit out. These physical and emotional reactions to innocent everyday sounds are similar to the fight or flight response and can lead to feelings of anxiety, panic, and rage. Here are some fast facts that you need to know about misophonia. A person's reaction can be so powerful that it interferes with their ability to live life normally. And since misophonia is a newly identified health disorder, treatment options are still limited. The term means hatred of sound, but not all sounds are a problem for people with sound sensitivity. So what are the symptoms of misophonia? Well, the key characteristics of misophonia is an extreme reaction such as anger or keyword aggression to people making certain sounds. The strength of the reaction and how the individual with the condition responds to it varies tremendously. Some people may experience annoyance and irritation, while others can fly into a full-blown rage. Both men and women can develop misophonia at any age, although people typically start showing symptoms in their late childhood or early teenage years. For many people, their first episodes of misophonia are triggered by one specific sound, but additional sounds can bring on the response over time. People with misophonia realize that their reaction to sounds are, keyword, excessive, and the intensity of their feelings can make them think that they are losing control. Studies have identified the following responses as symptomatic of misophonia: irritation turning to anger, disgust turning to anger, becoming verbally aggressive to the person making the noise, getting physically aggressive with objects because of the noise, physically lashing out at the person making the noise, taking evasive action around people making trigger sounds. Some people with this kind of sound sensitive may start to mimic the noises that trigger their angry, aggressive reactions. Simply thinking about encountering sounds that trigger their misophonia can make people with the condition feel stressed and ill at ease. In general, they have more symptoms of anxiety, depression, and neurosis than others. In addition to the emotional responses, studies have found that individuals with misophonia commonly experience a number of physical reactions, including pressure throughout the body, especially the chest, muscle tightness, increases in blood pressure, more rapid heartbeat, and increases in body temperature. One study found that 52.4% of its participants with misophonia could also be diagnosed with obsessive compulsive personality disorder, or OCPD. So, what are the most common triggers for misophonia? Well, some sounds are more likely than others to trigger a misophonic response. Researchers in Amsterdam identified the following as the most common triggers for misophonia. Eating sounds, affecting 81% of those studied. Loud breathing or nose sounds, affecting 64.3%. Finger or hand sounds, affecting 59.5%. Some 11.9% of participants had a similarly angry and aggressive response to the sight of someone repeating certain physical actions, such as shaking their knees. Interestingly, humans make most of the sounds and sights that trigger misophonia. A dog slurping down a bowl of food or similar does not normally provoke a misophonic attack. So, how then do you treat misophonia? How do you diagnose it? The main resource for diagnosing mental health disorders in the U.S. is the DSM-5, and it does not list misophonia. Technically, this means a person cannot be diagnosed with this condition. Nevertheless, the International Misophonia Network has developed the Misophonia Provider Network, listing specialists including audiologists, medical doctors, and psychiatrists with knowledge of misophonia and an interest in helping people with the condition. So if it's not in the DSM-5, how do you treat this? Well, individuals with misophonia often try to avoid situations, social gatherings, where they are likely to encounter their triggers. Some people also wear earphones or try to find other ways to drown out the offending sounds. Some mimic their triggering sounds. It can help to find support for a challenging condition. Misophonia International is an advocacy and networking organization seek to provide useful information and bridge the gap between research and those affected by the condition. So as you can see, this has not made it into the DSM-5 yet, so there's no medications for this disorder. But just imagine yourself walking and you hear somebody talking and it just drives you into a rage. It's just like, oh my God, I can't take it no more. That's how misophonia is. And although it's not in the DSM-5 yet because it's a newly recognized disease, it does happen in the brain because that's where your audible is in your brain, because your ears are here, this is part of your brain. Okay? So when that noise affects people, it can drive people into a very strong rage. So if you have, just think of a massive migraine. Now, I've never had a migraine, but I have friends that have migraine. And just whispering hurts their head. Misophonia is a migraine times 100 because just breathing could trigger a response, just normal breathing, or just talking in a low voice. So if you've ever experienced a migraine, you know how bad they are, how they hurt, how they can drive you to anger or a rage and just drive you insane. Well, misophonia is 10 times worse than a migraine. I'm blessed that I don't have it. I cannot see myself walking down the street and just knowing that somebody's voice could drive me insane. If I had that, just knowing I had it would drive me nuts. Because you would want to keep yourself secluded away from people. because you wouldn't want that noise. So if you ever, just talk to somebody and they just blow up at you, before you jump to conclusions and start judging them, ask them, do you have misophonia? And if they do, ask them, well, what can I do so I don't trigger it? But like I said, most of the times people with misophonia stay away from gatherings because of the noises. They stay away from anything that could trigger it. So they basically become a loner. They don't talk to a lot of people because they don't want the trigger. So remember, before I leave, I want to leave you with this, like I do with every video, because it's important. This is my message to everybody. And it's because it matters. You matter. We all matter. We are all very important. We may not think so, but we're here for a reason. And our reason for being here is not to judge one another or to criticize. It's to help, encourage, uplift, and inspire people. Because when we do that, we release endorphins inside our body. And them endorphins help heal us, both physically, mentally, spiritually, emotionally, in every which way possible. But when we do the opposite, it also has a negative effect on our body. We're depressed more often. We're just feeling blah more. We get sicker more. And it's because we have a negative attitude in life, so there's more problems, more things. So it's better to have a positive day and be positive around people than a negative day and be negative. So to remember, I'm talking to each and every one of you out there. I'm getting up close and personal. Because you out there matter to me. Yes, you. I'm speaking to you. I see you right now. You matter to me. You are very important. You are wonderfully created. Don't ever feel like you have to do anything alone. If you have a friend on here, on any type of social media, and you're having a bad day, reach out, talk to people. Talk to someone you can trust. And if you don't have anybody, I reach out